Uh, what was the media's response when it all happened?
My immediate response?
No, media's. Like
Media?
news,
Oh, it was
news.
just, I don't know. It was just all over the news, and it was just flashing different people, in the city and all over the country. They were just crying and, uh, you know, um, just like they lost a loved one. And the media was just covering, and it was covering on what had happened and where it took place at, which it took place in Memphis, Tennessee, at the Lorraine Hotel. And so they were just flashing back to that, and then just telling everybody the details what had happened. And so it's just like the normal media, they're going to just flashing different scenes and just look at the people, at the country people, of how, how they were reacting. So.
So you said you were in Detroit. How old were you, and what were you doing during the riots?
How old was I?
Yeah, and what were you doing during the riots?
What was I doing? Staying in the house out of the way. But, well, Detroit, at the time when they started, I was happened to be up in Saginaw, Michigan, visiting an aunt. And when I turned the TV on, it was just like it was real dark, And I said, what's wrong with the TV? And it wasn't TV, it was a lot of smoke. And that's what they were saying, that in Detroit, they were looting and burning and things, burning the city down. And so at that time, they wouldn't let anybody come in the city, and they wouldn't let anybody go in the city, go out of the city. So I couldn't go in, go back home for about a couple of days. And when I did get back in the city, like I say, you get the house, stores and different things were just being burnt down, furniture, and stores, and the grocery stores, and neighborhood stores, and people going up and down the streets with convertibles, with refrigerators and stoves, and all kind of appliances in the car that's still in there, and the sirens, fire department. Then after a while, you saw the National Guard, and it was just like a war zone. Tanks was up and down the streets, and at night they told you to stay away from the windows, because of shooting. Some people shooting at the airplanes shooting back. So it was just a mess.
Were you involved in these
No,
riots?
no. When nighttime, matter of fact, I stayed in my apartment during the duration. I didn't go to work. No, I was not involved in that stuff.
I'm aware that there were 11 killings and 124 injured.
Huh?
There were 11 killings and 124 injured. Were you witness to any of these?
During that time?
Yeah, like were you witness to any
No,
of these?
I didn't witness anything. I didn't know how many got killed. It's been so long ago.
Yeah, there was 11 killings and
So
120 got injured.
Right. Well, you looked that up. That's good.
So, how do the police officers behave? Could you
How
describe
did they
their
behave?
actions?
I don't know. Like I said, I don't know. I wasn't out there.
Yeah.
So I really don't know exactly how they behave, but they're doing the best they could as far as keeping the looters away from the downtown area. Now, they were looting the outer areas, but the downtown area, they didn't get down there, the city mayor ordered a blockade, so they couldn't get down through the downtown area, and they ordered that if anybody break through the blockade, to shoot to kill. But myself, I didn't get involved in that. I just stayed, just watched the news and watched the people and stayed in my apartment.
Did you notice a change in people's behavior between when he was alive and then after he died?
So what now?
Did you notice a change in people's behavior between when he was alive and then when he died?
Well, somewhat. The change was I was thinking that, things would get even better, and then the people that would march with him, like Ralph Abernathy and Jesse Jackson, people like that would kind of step in and take over. But I kind of think without him, his leadership, it kind of went down. You know what I mean? After his funeral and everything, and after all that kind of died away, I think the change, instead of getting even better, it kind of was like a little setback. It was just like a little setback. It really,
What do you think happened? What do you think happened to his message after he was killed? His message for peace.
His message?
Yeah, you know how his peace was for love and non-violence.
Yeah, well, I think it went down the drain. Actually, if you look at what's going on now, even though That was what, 68? How many years that been?
50.
Huh?
Like,
Close to, no, well, not 50, but you know, 68 and that area.
yeah, it's like
What I'm saying, you seeing what's happening now,
maybe 50.
what's happening now with Love of Peace, you know, this police thing, you know. Uh, People are just tired of the black race, most of the young black men getting killed. So how can you be peaceful on something like that? I'm sure if Martin Luther King had been living, it might have been a different approach, a different way. But he would have been an older gentleman too. He'd been 80 some years old if he had lived, you know, because he was 39 when he died. But I think that, like I said, everything is just kind of like it's been a setback, and I don't really see a whole lot of difference, you know, a whole lot of difference. But I know what he was preaching: love and peace and nonviolence. Some people can take it, some people can't, you know. And I don't know. It was just a great loss. It was just a great setback. And
Do you know how long it took for the city to clean up?
the city.
Yeah.
Oh man, look at. You know, I've been to Detroit several times, and Detroit it take as far as cleaning up. Detroit is bouncing back, but it's not because of the riot. It's because of the economy. But as far as all the stores and different places burned down and different things like the rioting, it took a few years. You know, it took a few years to kind of get back on its feet. But Detroit has went down since then, because when I was living there, it was a nice city. But since then, it went down, and it seemed like it still haven't got back to the peak that it was. You know, you can still see dilapidated houses and things like that. You know, just like if you own a house, a very nice house, next house could be raggedy and dilapidated. You know, it's just embarrassing, and your house wouldn't be worth $2. But I think it's gradually getting back, even though it's been a long time. But it have just, you know, not like it used to be. But it's getting.
Do you have any? Yeah, is there anything you could tell us about the riots that I didn't?
The riot?
No, about the whole thing that I didn't ask.
Oh well, actually, that riot. Now, see, that was the riot in Detroit that I experienced, but it was riots all over the country.
Yeah.
It was in L.A. and what other?
Chicago.
Chicago,
Washington, D.C.
all the major cities, right? You know, but I was more or less concerned in Detroit because that's where I live. But it started on a street called 12th Street. It was the red light district. You know what I mean when I say red light district? You know what that means? That's where the bars and the prostitutes and things hang out. And that whole street was just bars and nightclubs and prostitutes. You know, you could ride down the street in your car and prostitutes on both sides. And it started there. When it started there, then it just started flaring out over the whole city. When they once they heard about the assassination, and then it spread out all through the country. You know that. So just like some of the stuff that's going on now with the killings of the young black men, these cities around there like Baltimore and Ferguson thing, you know. And we had a situation here in Chicago not too long ago. So, but that's basically it. It's just something that you really don't want to experience. And I was like, see, 66. I was probably 20. I was 18. I was about 24 years old. And to see something like that, you know, you read about riots back in the 20s, you know, in the history book, different riots, but to experience something like that, I didn't like it. It was scary. It was scary. You're talking about a war zone. That's all like a war zone. To look like tanks and armored cars up and down the streets, you know, the city streets, and National Guard people running around in uniforms, which I didn't get any part of that, though.
Do you think it's the same thing?
Huh?
Do you think it's the same way as it is in Baltimore right now?
The same way?
Yeah, or is it
Basically,
bigger?
but only, basically, yeah. I mean, the people they didn't like, well, it's a different thing now. This is a local kid that was killed by the police. Now, that's kind of not repercussion, but uh, a copycat of Ferguson situation, you know, in Baltimore. But not only that, because you're hearing, well, what about the guy in South Carolina? You heard about that one.
Yeah.
He was running away from the police. Now, the police didn't have no business shooting that man like that. He was running away. He wasn't assaulting him. He wasn't a threat to the policeman. So I just think that it's sad, but they got to stop somewhere. You know, I'm a former police officer myself, and I drew my guns, I think, in the 12 and a half years I was on the police department, I drew my gun twice on a person. One of them was because somebody was barricaded in the house and had a weapon, we thought. It was on the news. Another one is I went into a house and the guy, me and my partner, we went out, the guy had a butcher knife. And he was threatening his girlfriend, and when he saw we was in the house, he came to us, and you know, he was standing about from here where you are, and I had my gun drawn, and I asked him to throw down the butcher knife 3 times. He threw it down. Now, whether I would have shot him if he had came to me, I probably would have, you know, but it wasn't necessary to shoot him because he wasn't really no threat, you know. But this stuff in these cities with the police officer killing innocent young men, they have to stop. They just have to stop. You know, people are going to get fed up, you know. I know. It affects us all because it could be one of your brothers or sisters or something like that for no reason, you know. And I don't like it, but what I could do is pray that it will stop it, you know, because some of these policemen are taking advantage of that badge. I've seen it, you know, but that'll have to ride to a degree it does, you know, but they take advantage of that badge. They figure they got that badge on it. They got power, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But
Do you guys have any questions? Okay.
Oh.
Okay. That concerns you? I
All right. I know you're saying you won't talk about Vietnam.
huh?
I know you're saying
Well,
you won't talk about Vietnam, but how was it when you came back?
Oh, like a different.
How was it when we come back? We got treated, people got treated like there was nobody, there was nothing. They were calling baby killers and soldiers, and some of them getting spit. If you had a uniform on, you couldn't wear a uniform in the streets because of that. You used to be able to wear your uniform just like the soldiers are wearing a uniform now before then, but once after that happened, you know, it was just disrespect. The nation didn't have disrespect for veterans, you know, and hard for, just like they got the respect for them now. They, you know, the guys go to Iraq and Afghanistan, you know how they support the military now, but with no support at all, you know. And you went over there and got yourself killed. Some of them got killed. Now, I didn't like the whole idea because the whole war was political. We started out as advisors to the Vietnamese, meaning that we send troops and things and trainers to teach them how to fight in their own jungle, okay? After a while, when they started getting killed and some of our advisors started getting killed more, then we took over their war. It was a useless war, you know, useless, and the Vietnamese eventually surrendered, and we ended up losing about 58,000. And if you ever been to Washington, D.C.? I'm getting ready to go with the school. We're taking some kids 1st of June to the first. But if you ever get a chance to go to Washington, D.C., look at that monument. You ever heard of that monument with all the names on it?
Yeah.
I went there one time, and I sat there and looked at that monument, and I started crying because my name could have been on there. You know what I mean? Yeah. And I think about the fact that all the names is on there. There's somebody's father, somebody's uncle, grandfather, sister, brother. It's on there, but all of them lost their lives. For what? For what? Now you go back 40 years now, all the people that, they're probably, you know, the young kids, younger generation that's over here, you know. And some of them are back, but I didn't experience a whole lot, but I experienced enough that I didn't like it, you know what I mean? And it was a useless war. Useless war, you know. some of my friends that I know